September of this year, Kim met Ben Lockhart when he was at the Prime Minister's Cup in Korea.
And we're happy to introduce Ben to BadukMovies. He is our newest teacher. He is one of the strongest American players. He is a 7-dan and he is only 21 years old. Also, perhaps you've heard of The Surrounding Game. It's a documentary film that's being made by Benjamin's brother. Anyway, Benjamin, he has been a Yongguseng, which is the Korean word for insei, in Korea for the past 3 years. He was studying at the Chungam Dojang. And today he prepared an endgame lesson for us. He's going to go over the basics of endgame theory without going too much into specific endgame counting, like goals that lead to 1/3 or 2/3 of a point. We're not going to go into that, but we're going to teach you some basics of the endgame. Afterwards, we will have a look at a game between two Korean Yongguseng who made some mistakes in the endgame.
I'm curious. Let's see the first example. It is this white move at 1. It is the most simple case that we will look at. So this move is worth 2 points in Gote.
This is a Gote endgame move without follow-up, so that's important. If we want to understand endgame moves, we must realize that endgame moves usually do two things. They enlarge your own territory and they reduce your opponent's territory. So by playing this endgame here, white has gained 1 point for himself and he has destroyed 1 point of black. By analyzing it like this, you can only come to this conclusion when you compare the situations for both players. So if you first look at white playing the endgame move and then at black playing the same endgame move.
So when black plays the endgame move, then we can see that white gets 1 point less, the point at B, and black gains 1 point more, the point at A. Therefore, we can see that this move is worth 2 points. This was the most simple example, a Gote move without follow-ups. Let's have a look at the next example, where white can play a Gote move with a follow-up. Black answers and white connects. So white ends in Gote, but has a big follow-up.
White has now played a move of 2 points, but the follow-up is worth 5 points. Let's see that. When white plays here, he destroys 4 points of black and he captures 1 stone. So white's second move was worth 5 points. Does that now mean that white's original hane at 1 is worth 2 plus 5 is 7 points? No, it does not mean it is 7 points, because black might also be the one that gets the second move. So in Go theory, it means that the chance will be 50-50 that you will get to play the follow-up. And that is why, if you want to put a stamp on the value of that second move, it means the value is half. It's 50%. So that means that white's original move at 1 is still worth its full 2 points plus half of the 5-point Gote follow-up. Therefore, 2 plus 2.5 is 4.5 points.
So you're saying that this original hane is worth 4.5 points?
Right.
Because after this, white already gained 2 points and has a follow-up of 5 points. But it is not sure that white will get this move. Perhaps black will get it. So we will divide those 5 points by 2. So 2 plus 2.5 give 4.5 points in total.
Note that if there was yet another Gote follow-up, then that would be 1/4 of its value, and so on. This was the second example. Let's go to the third one. Here the move at A is a Gote move with a sente follow-up.
So we just saw a Gote move with a Gote follow-up, where we divided the value by 2,
Now this has a sente follow-up, and that means that this original move is worth its 2 points plus the full value of the next move. White exchanges 1 for 2, which is absolute sente, and that means that this is a guaranteed extra 4 points. So the value of the move at A is 2 plus 4 is 6 points in total. Again, let's break it down. If black would play here first, then we can see where the 4 points that we're talking about are coming from. We can assume that black gets to play at A, because it is a little bit more interesting for black than for white to play there. So we can see that black has 4 points there, and if white gets to destroy those 4 points, that's why it's 4 points after all. So it's 2 plus 4 points, and now you know where the 4 points are coming from.
Also note that it is actually a bit more than 4 points, because white can still play at B to get an extra point.
But the point at B, who will get this point? Will white play there or will black play there?
When white plays there, he gains a point, but also needs to come back to defend his weakness. So white gains 1 point. When black plays there instead, black has a follow-up.
We just learned all about Gote follow-ups, so let's apply it here. This is the follow-up for black, which is locally worth 3 points. So we need to divide this Gote follow-up by half. So 3 divided by 2 is 1.5. Therefore the original move at A is worth 1 plus 1.5 is 2.5 points.
The move at A was bigger for black, namely 2.5 points, than it was for white. It was only 1 point for white. Therefore, it is more likely that black will get this move in endgame, and therefore we don't count it in these calculations where we say that the white move at A is worth 6 points.
Let's jump to the fourth fundamental principle of endgame. This is called reverse sente. Now, what is reverse sente? It means that if we look at the top, there is a move that black can play in sente, this one. And if white plays in the same area, it is not a sente move, it is a gote move. So reverse sente is playing the gote move so that your opponent cannot play the sente move.
And in endgame counting, this is usually considered to be twice the value of a normal gote move. So a reverse sente move is twice its normal value. In this case, it would mean that this move is 6 points.
Because it is 3 points times 2.
Right. We should note, however, that this is an oversimplification. In the situation which is on the board now, it is true that the move at the top, the reverse center move, is worth 6 points. However, this is not always the case. Here there's an even number of gote moves at the bottom. So let's see what happens when white plays one of them first. Now we can assume the following endgame will appear on the board. At the bottom right, black blocked, and this resulted in white getting 6 points over there. But white ended in gote, and therefore black could switch to the top and take 3 points in center. And afterwards he could even get the last big gote move at 10. Note that white started this endgame sequence, but black got both the move at 10, the gote move, and the center move at the top.
So in this case, white gained 6 points at the bottom, but black also gained 6 points at the bottom and 3 points at the top. So black is 3 points better, basically.
Right. When white plays different endgame, like this, and first plays the reverse sente move at the top, and then afterwards gives sente to black, black can take one of the two big endgame moves, but white gets the last one. So here, white gained 3 points at the top, plus 6 points at the bottom, and black only gained 6 points at the bottom. So here, in total, white is 3 points better than black.
So before, black was 3 points ahead, and now white is 3 points ahead. And that's why the value of the move at the top, the reverse sente move at 1, is double the value of 3, is 6 points.
Right. But note that this is not always the case. In this particular situation, it was right. But if we go to another example, here, we can see that it is actually not good for white to play the move at A.
Now the move at A will no longer be worth 6 points. It is better instead to play on the lower side. This move is worth 6 points. If black will take the sente at the top, this is 3 points for black, and then black will get the last point in the top left. So black gains 4 points, but white gains 6.
If white would take this point, then we can assume that white gains 3 points here, but loses 6 points here, and then gains 1 point here. So black gained 2 points more than white. Therefore, it is not always correct to play this move, the
Right.
reverse sente move. It is only correct when there's an even number of Gote endgames, which you can play afterwards. Okay, we hope that made a bit of sense.
Now for the final endgame principle, there is also something called double sente. And that is a move that is sente for both, basically.
And luckily, this is not so complicated. Basically, the rule is you should play it as fast as you can. This move is sente for white, and also the hane on the first line here would be sente for black. So play it as soon as you can. However, note that it could be achikeshi to play this, because black gets a bit stronger on the lower side, so therefore you might remove some achi which still exists in black's position.
So play double sente as quickly as you can, but don't destroy aji when it's still there.
Now let's go further with some endgame tesujis. First, very nice one here in the lower left.
Because counting is not all that is endgame, you also need to spot clever moves in the endgame, some tesujis. And this is a classic example, black to play. We will now show it, so stop the video if you don't want us to show you. It's this move. It is essential to play it now, to play this at the right timing. White cannot block here at this moment because black would have another tesuji. Black can sneak into white's territory. Therefore white has no other choice but to block from this side.
And therefore black can get both this move in center, and black will also get this move in center.
So black basically gained 1 point by playing the tesuji. Let's now have a look at some Korean Yonguseng and their endgame. Let's skip to move 70 of this game. Here white connected and black should defend the corner. It is kind of a standard shape, but many people make mistakes in this shape, including me. I've never seen the correct move before.
How about this? It looks like taking a lot of points.
Right, but actually it is wrong. Why is it wrong? Well, it's actually quite subtle. Black can capture these white stones, but in the endgame, white will be able to throw in here. And because white can throw in, it means that later black will still have to spend some moves in his own territory.
To capture the 3 white stones.
Right.
So don't defend like this. How about this empty triangle?
It looks smart, but it reverts to the same. When white cuts, then black can defend in 2 ways. If black plays from this side, then again later white can play here to force black to play more moves in his own territory.
Right, how about instead of playing here, giving Atari from this side? Again, white gets the vital point here, and this forces black to come back.
Therefore, let's do a drum ruffle. This is the correct move, this jump.
It is the vital shape move, because now, when white cuts, black does not need to come back in the corner anymore to capture white. Even when later white has a stone here, then black can answer like this, and there's no way that white can approach black. So remember this move for the endgame.
Let's go further. This was played by the Yonggu-seng. It's a very good move. Now at the top there is another endgame situation. At this moment white has an endgame tesuji.
It's a bit similar to the problem that we've seen before, namely this cut here.
How does black respond to this cut? Well, it is too late now, obviously, to play on the first line here. That's why this is quite a nice timing move for white. If black would have earlier played at A, the exchange of A for B, then this move, this cut of white would be a bit weird.
Because black would simply answer at C. But now this move is not possible to play for black, because white can simply capture black. So black needs to pull back.
This leaves Aji for white, and even if black gets to play A for white B, like this,
then white has some Aji at C later. Let's see this. Later, white can come back here to steal away some points of black. It might seem as though black can easily capture white, and this is also true, but white should be careful now. Don't play this Atari, because black can defend in a good way and occupy the vital point. Instead, white has a sneaky move at the 1-2 point, and this is a good tesuji. Black needs to pull back, and then white can play here to capture one black stone. It's a 5-point endgame sequence.
Therefore, pulling back here for black is not a good move, and in the game, black just captured the stone like this.
But this allowed white to play this move in sente, and also later the move at A will be sente.
So white gained some Aji here and a few points in endgame. Let's now jump forward again a bit, all the way to the endgame. We are now in the endgame, and in the actual game, black played a pretty bad endgame and lost by 4.5 points. So at this moment you should be looking for victory, and every little point counts.
So these guys were looking very hard after the game to find ways how black could win this game with clever endgame, and after long thinking they came up with this cut.
It is difficult to answer this cut correctly. If you simply play here, you more or less lost the game immediately, because there is this great tesuji.
You often see this tesuji in books, but seeing it in a game is something completely else.
It's pretty awesome. If white blocks from this side, then black can simply slice through, and this is horrible for white. It looks better to block from the other side, but there is still a very big aji black can cut here, and A and B have become miyai for black. So this is a very sneaky cut.
And white is forced to answer like this.
Now the next move for black is to extend here. What black is aiming at is to play at A later, and if white can't block at B, then black already gained something.
The best answer is to connect here with the monkey jump.
It is a bad move to play this move for black now, because white can simply block.
And black did not gain any points here. But black has a good move here.
This Kosumi is again very sneaky. If white plays an extension here, then it is game over, because black can capture white in a snapback. Or actually not really a snapback, but just the lack of liberties. It is best for white to play this Atari, but black can still gain something. Now black plays here, and white cannot block.
There's still aji over here, which allows black to make a ko.
This is a huge picnic ko, or a flower ko, a free ko for black, so this would also be devastating.
Lots of aji here, so white cannot block.
And when black plays from the outside, white is forced to take here. So it is important to understand that this is a 1-point gain for black.
So black played all of this to gain 1 point?
Yes, that's right, and it's very important.
So if he does that 4 times more, then perhaps he wins the game.
Right. The next chance to gain some points was a little bit later. The upper left corner looked like this. Can you spot the endgame tesuji?
First black exchanged these moves, and afterwards pushed here. Now the endgame tesuji comes into play.
It is this wedge. Let's see how this works. If white cuts, then black has this squeeze, and white is in deep trouble.
So instead, white needs to fall back.
And again, some gain for black. This was a 2-point gain actually.
So now we found 3 points gain. We only need 1.5 more.
Yes, I'm not sure if in this game there was 1.5 more to be gained, or 2 points.
Perhaps we can find some for the next episode.
Keep trying in your endgame to find the best moves, to find the tesujis, and also count everything out.
And also keep in mind to reverse sente, sometimes double, sometimes not. Whoa.
That's complicated. Anyway, we hope you like this endgame lesson, and we will see you next time.